On the evening of August 21st, 2025, in a modest home in Greater Noida, a young woman named Nikki Bhati became the latest entry in India's ledger of dowry deaths. The details are harrowing. Police say Nikki's husband Vipin Bhati and his family had long pressed her for more dowry. Beyond the Scorpio SUV, motorcycle, gold and cash already given at her wedding in 2016. When demands for another luxury car and 35 to 36 lakh rupees were unmet, tensions arose. According to Nikki's relatives, those tensions exploded into violence. That night, Nikki was allegedly doused in a flammable liquid and set ablaze. Her sister's mobile phone captured chilling fragments, also what appeared like routine assault. Vipin dragging Nikki by the hair, taunting her sister to court record this, and just days later, a grievously injured Nikki stumbling down a staircase, her skin scorched, her life slipping away. She died on the way to Delhi's Safdarjung hospital. Days later, while in police custody, Vipin allegedly tried to flee. He was shot in the leg, rearrested, and on camera showed neither remorse nor doubt. She died on her own, he said flatly, casting a woman's brutal death as little more than a marital spat gone awry. His mother, father and brother were also arrested. According to Nikki's sister Kanchan, the sisters, both married into the same family in 2016, were subjected to 9 years of escalating dowry harassment. Police allege Vipin Bhati, angered by her plan to reopen a beauty parlor and her activity on Instagram Reels, coerced and assaulted Nikki, dousing her in kerosene given by his mother and setting her ablaze in front of her son. Bystanders captured in horrifying footage which shows Nikki stumbling down the stairs on fire and limp collapsing to the floor was seen by her 6-year-old son. His words only go on to haunt the record.
मम्मा के ऊपर गाली कुछ डाला, फिर मम्मा को चाटा मारा, फिर लाइटर से आग लगा दी थी.
In contrast, the Bhati family maintains that Nikki died by suicide, not murder. They have released 2 videos. First, showing Vipin rushing into the house only after flames broke out, suggesting he was not present when the fire started. Second, an emotional clip of a sobbing Kanchan crying and saying, "What have you done?" which the family argues points to panic or self-inflicted tragedy rather than premeditated violence. However, the police are yet to substantiate or validate these videos as definitive proof. Vipin himself, shot in the leg while allegedly trying to flee, asserted with disturbing calm.
ये नहीं मैंने मारी है, हाँ, ना मैंने कुछ किया है, अपने आप मरी है, हाँ, अच्छा, और आप पहले भी मारपीट करते थे उससे? मियाँ बीवी में हर जगह लड़ाई होती रहती है, ये कोई आम बात नहीं है.
Prior to the arrest, he also framed the tragedy on social media as a suicide, writing, and I'm quoting, "The world is calling me a killer because she left me." In Nikki's case, 2 warring narratives clash in public view. On one side, raw video evidence, eyewitness statements, including from a traumatized child, and years of alleged abuse. On the other, a defensive familial claim buttressed by selective video snippets and social media portrayal of grief. What happened in Greater Noida is not an aberration. It is a part of a pattern so entrenched that the National Crime Records Bureau records over 6,000 dowry deaths every year, a figure that has barely moved in 2 decades. Uttar Pradesh, where Nikki lived and died, accounts for the highest share. Indian law treats dowry-related murder, now under Section 80 of the Bharat Nyaya Sanhita, as a heinous crime carrying life sentences. Yet, conviction rates remain underwhelming, and families often manipulate sentiment and evidence to muddy waters. So the court must sift carefully, examine forensic details, question inconsistencies, and weigh each clip against context, not sensationalism. What fuels such crimes is not just greed, but a cruel economy of status and patriarchy. Nikki's marriage itself was bound up in this bargain. Two sisters married into one household on the same day. Their parents handing over cash, cars and jewelry in a bid for social respectability. Years later, the very family that once welcomed her allegedly demanded more, turning her life into collateral. The two videos her sister recorded are unbearable to watch, but they cut through the haze of denial that often cloaks such crimes. They show in raw pixels what domestic dispute really means in India. A woman dragged like property, a woman burnt alive. Nikki Bhati's death should shame us. It should galvanize lawmakers, police and courts to enforce the laws we already have. It should force families to confront how gifts at weddings morph into extortion. And it should make us ask why, in 2025, India still burns its daughters for dowry. Regardless of how the verdict lands, murder or suicide, this case reveals an underlying rot. Dowry continues to poison marriages. Control over autonomy remains gendered, and death is too often the final word in a woman's struggle for agency. Nikki's attempt to reopen a parlor, make reels, reclaim autonomy should have been celebrated, not punished with violence. The Bhati family's videos will circulate, people will express outrage and hashtags will trend. But justice cannot be social media's responsibility alone. It rests with the state and with us to ensure that Nikki is not reduced to yet another statistic in a grim annual report. If India is serious about progress, then Nikki's story must not end with her ashes. It must end in convictions, reform, and the breaking of a cycle that has already claimed far too many women's lives.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.